Are you recording?
Yeah, it's just started.
You got your next one ready? Is it full?
Mommy, catch me one.
I guess we should open this garage.
Catch me one, Mommy.
Catch you one? Are you going to carry it over?
Mommy, catch me one.
Yeah, let's fucking talk about it. That's going to hop right out there.
Whiskers. Whiskers is that?
Oh, yeah, Whiskers came back last night. But someone's going to need to stay here and make sure Whiskers doesn't get anyone.
How are we going to keep the chickens in?
Do you want to carry her?
No.
Do you want to carry it over to the chicken coop? I don't see any reason why you can't. Are you going to carry one, Ren?
What are you doing
Right,
video
these buckets
for?
aren't going to work.
I don't think you're going to be able to take them in buckets.
You guys are.
Why are you? Kill.
Here, Ren. No, you're going to have to carry her against your body like this. Don't let her go now, okay? Don't let her go. Okay. I guess I will be the one to stay here and make sure Whiskers doesn't get the remaining birds. Go ahead. Walk over to the chicken coop with her. Don't let her go. Go the other way. Ren. Ren. I guess that's fine. You can go that way. You can go that way. Come on, Ren. There's 2 chickens.
Where are they?
2 same.
Who's going? Yeah, who's going? Thank you. Don't let her go. Don't let her go. Ow! Huh?
Pick her back up.
And he got her. And he got her. And he got her. He got her. He got her. Hey, Whiskers! I love you! Hey, Whiskers!
All right, go back out, please.
I need to catch one. She's off now.
Here. You can get it. Right, come on.
Come on in. Whiskers is down to the cat.
This thing has little screw eyes here, so when we need to clean in here, we can just hang this up with these latches, and we've got the nesting box covered because we're not laying yet. This door is not going to be open yet, but you can open it like this, and there's a ramp outside. But we don't have a fence out there, so we can't put the chickens out there yet. And so this door, this is just utility. So if we need to, this door that closes and locks the whole thing up, locks from the outside, so we can't get out. So we have to put this one here to close up. You got a chicken.
Put it with the rest of the chickens.
Get out.
Do you love your chickens?
Baby one.
Is that one little?
Yeah. I
Hold
want
on. No. No, leave the chicken alone. Here, I'll put the stuff.
to catch you another one. Hey, wait for me.
One second. I think we got it. You want to carry another one over?
Here. You almost got that one.
No,
They are.
You got it? Canned chicken. Don't hold it by its tail, baby. You gotta hug them like you were doing on the way over.
You got your chickens?
That's the girl.
She's a crazy chicken lady. Get me out, ma'am. Hey.
Mama, someday do you think we're gonna get meat chickens? We'll see. I want to butcher them. You also want to pluck them, the feathers.
There. Mommy.
Oh my word.
You're silly,
He
right?
said, come we.
Did that chicken need some water?
Here.
That's a good job. Thank you so much.
Look at their teeth, Mom. They got.
So we decided to go ahead and get some chickens, and we thought 20 would be a good number. So we went ahead, we found out that Tractor Supply carried Silver Lace Wyandotte, so we ordered 20 Silver Lace Wyandottes through Tractor Supply. And there was an order with a mix-up. There was a mix-up with the order.
Granny, stop it.
And
Hey, stop catching them.
they couldn't tell us whether they had actually shipped or not. They didn't come on the day that they were scheduled to arrive. Anyway, long story short, they sent us another batch of 20 birds. So we ended up with 40. We lost 3. So we've got 37 birds. Especially for while they're inside the coop and not out in the run. I wanted a water situation that I knew was not going to be really dripping water into the shavings. And so I decided to get the horizontal nipples, and I do have those. They came in the mail the other day, but I haven't gotten the 5-gallon food grade buckets yet. I'm supposed to get those from my sister on Friday, but we really needed to just move them out of the garage. They were stinking the place up. So I wanted to get them out of the garage and into the coop on some deep bedding. So we're just working with what we've got. The kids are figuring out a dust bath. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to feed their food to them in, because I'm trying to do soaked grain. I'm just taking it one step at a time.
He's not taking pictures.
Come closer. Okay. Yeah, I guess that.
Is that fine?
That's fine.
Alright. So, we knew that we needed to move the chickens out of the mudroom. So, we moved them out to the garage, but we also have some cats. And so, we also didn't want them hopping out and just pooping all over the garage. So, my husband made this nifty frame out of scrap lumber and hardware cloth. And this is a galvanized water trough that we picked up actually off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. You obviously don't have to be this fancy, but this is what we had, so this is what we worked with.
I want to help you, Mommy.
We tried to do deep bedding in here. We had a little bit of trouble with water leaking, and we had propped up the waterers and the feeders on these bricks that we had laying around. Obviously that was not that successful. And the bedding did get pretty dirty. They weren't tilling it very well for some reason. So I'm not really sure what was up with that. But these are just things that we will keep track of and try to remedy next time. My son just removed the temperature gauge that we had out here. I wasn't sure about the temperature fluctuation that was going on out here in the afternoon and the evening, overnight. So I went to Tractor Supply and I just got a simple, inexpensive, I think it was $15 for this outdoor thermometer. It's one of those ones that has a little temperature gauge that you keep inside and a monitor that you keep where you want to monitor, usually the outdoor temperature. We kept it in the coop. And it recorded 24 and 48 hour highs and lows so that I always knew that the chickens were staying warm enough or could stay warm enough if they needed to get underneath the heat lamp while when it was cold out overnight. And that worked out really well. We were having trouble keeping the heat lamp. At first it wasn't that hard because we wanted it close to the chicks. They wanted to be really warm, 95 degrees, whatever. But then when we needed to move it up, we were having a really hard time figuring out how to do that. And at first we had constructed something with just like a pole on the end of the frame cover.
So this.
But that was not really, it didn't work very well. That didn't work very well. So Liam had this genius idea. We were actually throwing this away because we had no use for it. And it's just a stand for like a construction light. And it adjusts up and down by turning this little thing. Liam, can you help me out here? So it can go down and it can go up as high as you need. Is that as high it goes? Oh yeah.
There's two, so it can go like
So it can go up and down really well, and that just worked out really, really well for us for keeping the chickens the temperature in the coop moderated.